What's up, everybody? Well, I got another Asus ROG Ally gameplay video for you guys today. And today, we are going to try out some Persona 5 Royale. Now, I've already beaten this game, and damn, was it a fun-ass game. Made me want to go back and play all the other Personas. But in any case, I'm hoping that this game can at least do 60 plus at 1080p. You know, it might not be able to, that might be too much of an order, but it should at least be able to do 60 all the time at 720p. I mean, even the Steam Deck was almost able to do that. It just couldn't do it once you got out into the big cities. Then it would drop to like 46, 47. So with that game on the Steam Deck anyway, I just limited it to 40. That way I wouldn't have a bunch of frame drops. It was just butter smooth, and I got a little extra battery life out of the deal. But let's not waste any more time and see how this guy does. So we'll hop in, take a quick look at some settings, and then we'll get into the game. Alright, so we're gonna start off at 1080p here. I turned VSync off, although I'm pretty sure this game's still limited to 120 FPS anyway, though. Seeing as though we're only getting 40 FPS in the menu, this is probably not gonna go well. But we're gonna try on high at 1080p first, and work our way down. And of course do my settings at the end. So there's really not that many settings to this game, so we're already to the bottom. So let's not waste any more time, and we'll hop into the game. Alright, I had to get through a bunch of talking before I could get to an actual place to test some FPS. But, unfortunately, let's see, let's move that. Let's see, we'll put it up like that for now. Usually I like having it in the corner, but since there's white, you won't be able to read any of it. Oh, we can't go there yet? Oh. Alright, nope, don't care about that right now. We're trying to get data, so we're just gonna fast forward through that shit. But now it's getting like 100 FPS, because we're just talking to a guy in front of his house. Yeah. Alright, so we're now in this area, but even this is getting only like 44 FPS. Alright, well, again, let's just skip through that. Skip. We're not here. Not here to read a bunch of stuff. Unfortunately, this game's got a lot of reading, so if we sat here and read through everything, I would never be able to show you any actual nothing. But see, even here, in this area, before you even get into the thing, there's only at like 45. At these particular settings, we are maxed out though at 1080p, so if we tone it down a little, we'll probably start getting some decent FPS. So it might be impossible to get 60 at 1080p, but a lot of people would be happy if they could just hit 40 the whole time. But it does drop into the 30s still. But again, a lot of people would be happy just to stay above 30, so this is still probably more than playable for like 95% of people. It's just FPS snobs like me that kind of wished it could be better, but it is what it is. Anyway, I think that's enough. So why don't we go ahead and lower it down to medium. Alright, we're gonna tone it down to medium. It says custom, but it's on medium. I changed that to 120 instead of 30, because if we tone it to 30, I'm sure it can do 30. I've never seen it drop under 30, so that would not be any good test. So there we go. So now why don't we go hop back into the game and we'll see how medium does. Alright, we're in a more crowded area here. Not quite as crowded as it can get, but we're getting right at about 60 now with medium in this area. But let's go out here to where I started the last time. And see how it does out here. 50. Yeah, 45 still, 40. So not the best. Honestly, about the same as it was on high. Maybe 1 or 2 FPS higher. Well, let's go and get done with all this talking so we can go hop into that one area where we're actually going to spend most of our time. Alright. And again, skip through all this stuff because it's just a waste of time since we're just trying to get FPS data here. But it still gets good FPS out here, just when you're staring at a guy's house. Aw shit, we're going to the place.
Oi.
So many peeps.
Yes.
No, it's honestly getting about the same FPS we were getting over here before when we were maxed out, so. Doesn't really seem like much of what we changed, at least for medium, does anything. Hop around in here. Jump on down in here. No, seems about the same. Kind of lame, but it is what it is. Go down here, grab our plant bomb this time, so it does change every time. That's definitely interesting.
Oh. Yes.
Anyway, why don't we now move on to the next setting? Alright, it says custom, but we're on low now. All I did was change that up to 120, so we're not limiting it to no 30. 30 would be no fun. We never dropped under 30 that I saw. We went down like 37 for a split second one time, but that was when we were in a big old crowd of peeps. But anyway, now let's get back into the game. We'll try to start where I was, kind of in that little, access way of the train station. Alright, we're on low now, in the same-ish area we were before. Getting about 60 to 63 FPS just like before, so in all honesty, funny enough, it doesn't seem to really change much when you change the settings at 1080p. But let's make sure and go out here real quick. This is a place where it was definitely dropping the most. Nah, seems like it's doing alright now. Well, still dropping under 60, obviously, but still the same 40 that it was getting before, so I guess it didn't drop to 37 before, because these are the same FPS it was getting before. Oh, nope, there it goes. So it did still drop to 37. Interesting, the Steam Deck never dropped under 40, but let's keep in mind, the Steam Deck wasn't playing this at 1080p either. It was only doing 720, so this thing will probably play 720p almost maxed out and stay over 60. But we'll have to wait and see. Let's go and get all this nonsensical talking out of here so we can get into the little area. Yep, skippity skip, skip, skipperoo. Same 70 FPS here. So, this game, at least on this thing, seems to care more about resolution than your settings. So, if you're gonna play at 1080p, you might as well just max this thing out. I mean, I'll still try my settings, but I have a feeling that it won't do much. But my settings would be just basically playing the thing maxed out, so I guess we won't do my settings in this game. There's no point. And it is a museum. But it's not like this is unplayable, obviously. This is still very, very playable. I guess I was just thinking a game like this would have done an easy 60 plus. No problem, even maxed out. Wasn't expecting no 120, but I was still expecting at least 60. Not dropping down into the 30s at times. Still over 30, so at least it's playable, but I was hoping for a little more, I guess. But maybe I was just a little overzealous with this thing and expecting it to be way more powerful than it really was. It's more powerful than the Steam Deck, yes, but it's not like, oh my god, fucking pounds that thing into the sand. Like, so far from what I've seen, it's generally, like, at its native res, like, 8 to 10 FPS more. Or sometimes only equal because of its resolutions. That's just what I've noticed so far. Alright, so let's go over here and see if it drops down to the same, like 46, 45, yep, 44. So, pretty much the exact same. Let's go jump over this motherfucker. So yeah, seems like I guess I'll just skip my settings then. What's the point? If the settings get the same FPS no matter what, there's really no point in even doing anything other than high. But since I did them all, I just kind of want to see. So now it's mostly just a, is that actually what's happening thing? So I'm still going to do high, medium, and low on 720 as well, don't worry. We're not just going to end the video after this. I still want to see what it gets at 720p. And we might as well be thorough, because then we can go, huh, maybe it's just 1080p that acts like that. You know, who knows? But in any case, why don't we go and move on to 720p. So alright guys, now we've dropped the resolution down to 720p. And we're doing this maxed out now on high. And at least in here now we're getting like 70, 80 FPS, so that's nice. But let's go down here, because this was the trouble area over in Station Square. Nope, not quite. We dropped down to 54, 53, so if it's anything like 1080p, that's probably just all you're going to get here, even if we drop the settings further. But still pretty damn close to 60, though, all the time. Down 48, 47, 46, 45. So, yeah, there's just something about this area that makes this thing get that kind of FPS. But that is why I limited the Steam Deck to 40 FPS when I played this game, so it's probably what I would do with this and just play at 1080p so far. Because yes, this can get up to 80, but if you still drop down into the 40s, what's the point, right? I almost forgot, we're not sitting here playing the game. We want to get through all this shit. And besides, I'm down to 41% battery. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to get done with this game before having to recharge. Not having to do my settings helps, but... And we're definitely getting 117 here, so it does go up and down. It's just, you're going to drop down to 40 here and there when you get into big old crowds and shit. In certain other areas. Oh, nope, I already knew it was museum. Why the fuck did I pick the first one? Idiot. Alright, fast forward through all that.
Yes.
Alright, let's run around here a little bit. Okay, now see, it's definitely different from here, because here we were dropping down to 40-something. And now we're only dropping down to 56, but in town we dropped to about the same 46. Although, no, it dropped down to 37. I'm being stupid, so we were still 10 ahead. But that's still not above 60. Oh well, no big deal. I'm still pretty positive that either resolution would be pretty more than playable for people. This one does fine for people like me that want to be 60 plus most of the time, with some drops still, unfortunately, but they are there. But it seems like when you're a place like this, you're not really going to drop under 60. So that's at least nice. So, why don't we lower that to medium, and we'll see if I'm right, and it kind of doesn't matter what you do with the settings, because that's what happened to 1080p anyway. Now we've dropped it down to medium settings, even though it says custom. I put the FPS up to 120 again. I didn't think it'd be worth it at 30. We've never gotten close to dropping at 30 FPS on 720p yet, so. In any case, though, that's the few amount of settings there are. There's not a huge amount to this game, so I think that's plenty of time looking at settings, so back into the game we go, and we'll see if I'm right and see if this does anything. If it's anything like 1080p, it will be about the same FPS we got at high. Alright guys, here we go. Medium settings now, and it looks like we're getting the same 70 to 80 FPS that we got before in this area, so I think I'm right. Doesn't really matter what you do with the settings, it's all about that resolution. Wished it could stay at 60 the whole time, but we're still dropping down into the 50s and 40s here. Still more than playable, but I was hoping 720p would give us a 60 FPS experience, and you could do 1080p if you didn't care about FPS and you just wanted crispy. Anyway, though, let's go get done with all of this nonsense here, so we can go jump into the little palace. We're already down to 33% battery, and we still got to get low done. That's one problem with running this thing. This thing's really not that great at battery when you're running it, you know, at 25 watts. Man, look at how long it would have taken us to get through all that if I just sat there and tapped and we just went through it, you know? Alright, let's run around this area again. Looks like we're sitting right at around the 60 to 56 FPS like we were before, so awesome. Jump on down here and see what we get here. Looks to be about the same as we were getting before. Which is fine. If we get like 60 to 70 FPS when we're in the palace, that's fine with me. Battles, if I remember correctly, in the beginning of the game, when I was getting through all the like rigmarole of the intro, like prelude, showing you what's one of those things like, oh, this is where you're gonna end up, but first we have to go back to show you how we got there, kind of things. So when we were doing that, I kind of noticed it was getting lots of FPS in the actual battle. But anyway, why don't we now drop it to low before we run out of batteries? And here we go. Last up, we're gonna do low. Still 100% rendering scale and everything, but everything else is low. So now that we got that all the way, there's one thing I noticed. When you're at 720p, all the text and everything looks really, really jaggedy and lame. So I would probably play a game like this at just 1080p and not give a crap about FPS. But that's just my 2 cents. Anyway, let's go see how low handles. Here we go with low. And it appears to we get the same exact FPS. We got 80, well, we almost went up to 90, so we might have gotten 8 FPS or 2, but we're still averaging around 80 to 70 FPS in here. So, and we'll go down here. Nope, still down to 54. So yeah, I would probably just play this thing, yeah, so it drops down to the same 46, 45 that it did last time. So yeah, I would just play this game maxed out. If you want close to 60 FPS, just play on 720p. If you don't care about FPS and you just want that crispy, well then just go with 1080p. So that's why I didn't even bother with my settings. It would be pointless. It doesn't seem to do anything. It would just be a waste of time. Honestly, it was a little bit of a waste of time even going through all the settings after I realized that, but I had to go through all of them to be sure that was even happening. Museum for the win. That is quite the museum. Alright, let's walk around here just a little bit before we go in and walk around in the actual place just a teeny bit. Just in the same area we did. Same FPS we were getting before. Just had to be sure. Jump on down. And yep, same FPS we were getting before. But now we know that's what was happening, and now we know what to do. FPS, play at 720p. Graphics, 1080p. That's all you gotta do for this game. And the FPS are just gonna be whatever they are. Doesn't seem like anything else matters. But in any case, I think that's plenty of camera-recorded gameplay since there's no point in doing my settings in this video, so let's go wrap this video on up. Well, alright guys, that is a wrap for Persona 5 Royale on the Asus ROG Ally, and it did a pretty good job. I was hoping for a 60 plus experience at 1080p and 720p. Well, what I was hoping is 60 at 1080 and 120 at 720, but I guess my dreams are shattered. It's still more than playable though, and hopefully this thing can get a little faster with some updates, but it might just be as good as it gets. But I figured it could do a little better than that. Still, it did better than the Steam Deck, because the Steam Deck would drop into the 40s and stuff a lot too, and even the 30s every once in a while at 720p in situations like that. So that's why I always just left it at 40 FPS on the Steam Deck. But that's also at 720p, not 1080p. And this thing only dropped to like the same like 37 or whatever. But anyway, enough blabbing about. Why don't we go ahead, wrap this video on up so I can charge this thing up and then I can get started on the next one. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, because I sure as hell enjoyed making it for you guys. And of course, if you have any more, requests or whatever, or questions about the thing, just drop me a comment, and I try to answer every comment I can. Sometimes YouTube is lame and doesn't let me know I have one though, so if you get missed, I'm not doing it on purpose. Anyway, that is all I got for you guys. So until the next video, peace out, guys.